It's Reija and welcome to another video. Today is a special video because it is the official, unofficial, low-key booktube Secret Santa video. A few of us booktubers decided to do a Secret Santa sort of buddy read thing where we got designated with a booktube partner secretly, and we had to read their favorite book and do a review about it. And I got Angela from Literature Science Alliance as my Secret Santa partner, and I decided to read The Unbroken by C.L Clark, which was already on my physical TBR, and Angela has talked very highly of this book. It has been one of her favorites this year. And I really like Angela's channel. She's very thoughtful as a reviewer. She reads a variety of different things. I have mentioned her many times previously in my other videos, and I especially like her series where she explains the science behind the magic or science behind a certain world-building element. So I was very glad that I happened to chance upon Angela as my Secret Santa giftee. So without further ado, let's get started, and I will tell you 5 reasons. That's right, 5 reasons why you should pick up Unbroken by C.L Clark if you are undecided on it. Let's get started. So a quick plot summary. The Unbroken takes place in a secondary world fantasy where a sort of stand-in for France has colonized parts of the known world that are basically stand-ins for Middle East and Northern Africa. The main character, Touraine, is a conscript, is a soldier that's basically been forcibly drafted when she was a child and taken to train and to be raised in Balladeer, the French stand-in, and forcibly taken from her homeland. She comes back to her homeland when the princess of the colonizing empire is sent by her uncle, the regent, to quell a rebellion. And due to various circumstances, she has to aid the princess in order to gain the trust of these rebels and possibly find out how they can utilize magic in order to bring peace. You know, basically, that's very much the bare bones plot. Like, that's just to get you going. It's very interesting. So, reason number 1 to read this. It is very thoughtfully written, and it has this very interesting prose style. It is at the same time sort of gritty realism, but also evokes like almost poetic beauty in those realistic moments. Like it's like you're kind of reading a very blunt, in-your-face type of text, but there are these very beautiful moments like sprinkled in, and I just don't think that I have ever read anything that's been written quite like this. C.L Clark has a very specific type of writing style that I can't put my finger on. I don't think I've ever really read something that comes even close to comparing to this sort of writing style. Yeah, so just the writing style alone is something that I think is very interesting. I will read you the very first passage so that you kind of get to feel for it. A sandstorm brewed dark and menacing against the Khazali horizon as Lieutenant Touraine and the rest of the Baladiran Colonial Brigade sailed into Elvast, capital city of Khazal, foremost of Baladeer's southern colonies. Elvast, city of marble and sandstone, of olives and clay, city of the golden sun and fruits Touraine couldn't remember tasting, city of rebellious, uncivilized god-worshippers, the city where Touraine was born. At a sudden gust, Touraine pulled her black military coat tighter about her body and hunched small over the railing of the ship as it approached land. Even from this distance in the early morning dark, she could see a black Balladaran standard flapping above the docks. Its rearing golden horse danced to life, sparked by the reflection of the night lanterns. Around her, pale Balladaran-born sailors scrambled across the ship to bring it safely to harbor. So, like, it has this very interesting style where it just gives you facts straight on, but also just the way it exposits these details is very beautiful. Like, I just find it like such a unique writing style, to me at least. So that's point number one. Point number two is the theme of displacement. This book talks about displacement and the feeling of not belonging and the feeling of not being enough. Touraine is someone who is stuck between two different cultures. She was forcibly taken from her home. She was raised in a different culture, but she isn't truly a citizen of that country either. So she knows parts of both cultures, but not enough to truly belong to either one. And I think that this book discusses wonderfully the feeling of displacement and the sort of feeling of loneliness and how you are sort of stuck without course and sort of adrift in a sense, and not fully in control of yourself and don't have the tools to take control of your life even, because in order to have control you would need somewhere to anchor you. So yeah, the theme of displacement is very thoroughly detailed in this book, and yeah, I would read it for that as well. Number three, everyday queerness. This book is very queer. It has like queerness in itself isn't a deal breaker in this book. Basically, all of this book has various instances of same-sex attraction and people, men having crushes on men and women having crushes on women and flirting and stuff, and nobody makes a big deal out of it. The thing that usually is the sort of deal breaker in these relationships is class and also race. So the queer identity is sort of like just everyday normal thing, but it's the class difference or the racial difference that begets problems. So I thought that was just a nice touch, that this book is just unapologetically queer, and there's queerness sprinkled throughout, and both of the main characters, the main point of view characters in this book, are queer. Reason number 4 you should read this book is the delicious amounts of angst. I am someone who doesn't like angst unless it is purposeful and also there's a reason for it. The main relationship between Touraine and the Princess Luca is something that has a lot of good reasons for angst. There's a high difference between power dynamics, like Touraine is obviously both in terms of status and position, but also in terms of race, and she's viewed as lower in all respects. But she's also has to work with Princess Luca, who is literally the highest ranking person in all aspects. So there's a huge power imbalance there. There's also this idea that Luca can't fully even comprehend the sorts of troubles that Terrain is going through. So there is this delicious amount of angst while they are working to build trust and build their relationship and build their friendship. So I just think that this book handles that level of angst very well, and it isn't overpowering, and it doesn't feel unearned, and it doesn't feel like it's there just to create conflict. Like there's an actual good reason for it, and the angst kind of comes out of the frustration that both of these characters have with each other and with the situation, and trying to build that relationship. So yeah, top-notch, grade A quality angst here. And reason number 5 you should read this book is if you like books that are set in worlds where magic has disappeared, but it's coming back. So in this world there are countries or places where magic is still very much a thing, and it is set in a kind of environment where magic is closely related to religion. So this book has its whole world building concept and concept around magic intertwined in religious practice and religious ritual, and this sort of power struggle between secular thought and science and religion. And I thought that that was really interesting, and I also think that I personally, like, one of the, like, in my mind, my favorite tropes is magic coming back into the world, and this definitely sort of fits that prompt. It is very much a book where the characters are trying to find magic and trying to learn about it and figure out how they can bring it back. So yeah, if you like stories where there isn't a lot of magical elements, but there's this sort of promise that magic is more forthcoming in future releases, I would definitely pick this up, because this is all about magic coming back. And also this idea that when, like, the idea that colonized people kind of get stripped away from their magic because they're stripped away from their belief system. So it's a really interesting interesting idea that this book deals with. So yeah. And there you have it. Those are the 5 reasons to pick up The Unbroken by C.L. Clark. I thought that this was a very fine book. Like, it's a debut, and I thought that it was, for the most part, very well realized and put together. I think that this was it was a very nice package, and I can't wait for the next one. If you got this far, please leave me a pyramid emoji or something to do with the desert, because this is a desert fantasy. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye bye!